Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another Gemini Scale Model Works video. Hi, I'm Vinny and I will be your host. Today we're going to do part 8 of the Big Rig group build. I can't tell you exactly what I'm going to work on because I'm going to be jumping all over this vehicle. We'll do some chassis work, we'll do some more airlines for both the brakes and the airbag suspension. We'll do a little bit on the business end of the truck. And maybe we'll do a little bit on the interior. Who knows? Anyhow, if you guys are interested, stay tuned and watch this video. Let's get down to the workbench. Bye. Okay, guys, welcome back to the bench. I've done a few things while I was off camera and since the last time I did this. I'm going to glue these wheels on eventually because they are way loose, and I want to figure out how to get them to come out a little bit further to meet the sides of the body of the truck. Anyhow, what I did was I mounted the battery box here, and I decided I'm only going to use 2 batteries, and I'm going to put them in first one with the terminals closest to the chassis, and the second one with the terminals further away from the chassis. So I have my red wire here, my black wire at that end, and then there'll be a little jumper wire in between those two. So that's almost ready to go back in together. And I also secured the engine, transmission, and the driveline is totally complete right now. I did add all the steering linkage, and that little piece that I showed you in the last one, that little U-joint thingamabobber. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Hopefully it's still in here. Yep, there it is. Tweezers. I need the tweezers. Okay, so if you remember in the last video, I showed you how that piece went on the steering column. Well, once that's in place, the rest of it gets hooked up onto the steering gearbox. I said chassis in the last video, but it's actually the steering gearbox, and you can see it right there. See that right there? Just like that. Anyhow, put that back in there. We're going to go ahead and clean up my tanks because I filled in all the holes that I had drilled previously because running these cables is going to be a little bit different than I expected. First of all, we need to have one of these airlines that go up to the cab to go to the actual brake pedal, and then from the brake pedal it's going to come back down. Well, it might go to the tank first. I'm not 100% sure of the exact routing, but we're just going to do it to make it look believable. Anyhow, with that being said, we're just going to snip off a piece right here. I don't use my sprue cutters to cut stuff like this. So basically, when the cab is on here, let me see, I'll get the cab right now. Basically, when the cab is on here, wires in the way. It'll just pretend to go up inside the cab. So I'll cut about maybe this much off of here. And then we'll just take the same thing, we'll just put these two together, and I'll have it come out of the cab and to one of the tanks. It might be backwards, I'm not sure, but it'll just look like it's doing what it's supposed to do. So the next piece I would cut down here. And so that would go to the tank like that. So, that being said, I'll go ahead and do this, but first I need to drill my holes in my tanks. I already have one hole. You can see that one. I'll drill a second hole in this one, and this will be the one for this side, and they mount on the outside right there. And then once they're repainted and mounted and all the holes drilled, we'll start running the rest of the cables. That's all for that part right now. Okay guys, welcome back to the bench. This part of the video, we're going to start doing some of the cable that is needed on a tow truck, of course. I already did the first one, as you can see. Wrapped it around here. I went around actually 1.5 times, so it looks like there's a lot of stuff on there. But what I used, I bought this a long time ago for something else. I don't remember what it was. But I use this here. Let's see. couple of different colors on here. It's a little heavy, but for my purposes, it's going to work out. So what I did was, if you can see, let's see if I can get this up here so you guys can see that. And let's go to maybe this camera, be better. So you can see that little white space right there. That's a hole in there. So what I'll do is I did put a little glue on this to make it easier to get it into the hole. But once I get in the hole, I'll put a little bit of black CA cement on there and then just start rolling this. And we're going to get it up to the, let's see, let me get this in here. Up to the boom adjustment. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take this through here. And I'm going to take a little bit of my black CA. And we'll put a little bit in here. Oops. And then I'll just take some and just put a little bit on here. Just like that. Then I'll stick this guy in the hole. And then we'll just start winding it. Now you have to hold it on one side and try and get it so it's you need actually 3 hands. But I tried to get it as close to the reel as possible. And then we'll just continue to wind it up. There we go, right there. Yeah, this was what was happening to me with the other one. Now, you see a lot of slack in there, but as soon as I put that rear piece on there, it'll pull it taut and it'll look okay. This here right now is how I'm going to do this. Maybe. Okay, boys and girls, we are now cabled up. As you can see, I got my main cable here. Maybe I should switch to the other camera. And maybe that's not such a good idea. Let's see if we turn this around. Yeah, there you go. So I got my hook cable, and I got my boom cable. And also, this is not permanent yet, but this is how it would be. I'd probably put it in an up position, kind of like that. Oops, I knew that would happen. Because I can't glue this piece onto here until I repaint the entire body. But just to give you an idea, the hook is on there, as you can see. Maybe you can't see. How about that? There you go. Had to make the hole a little bit bigger to get the thread through there. I don't know. I might glue all of this together. I am not sure. But like this slack that I have right here, as soon as I put a little tension on it, it'll go away. What's happening is the inner boom has too much play in it, so when it relaxes, it goes back. All I have to do is put some pressure on it, and that becomes taut. Anyhow, let's see what else we can get into on this. I also added the light bar. I added some of the details in there. One red can for gas, green can for diesel, and a 55-gallon drum, I don't know, oil or hydraulic fluid or whatever. Anyhow, well, let's see what else we can get into. We'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, we are back at the bench again, and we're going to start putting some of these air tanks on and the fuel tank on and all kinds of good stuff like that. We might even do the radiator, get that mounted in here, and do the rest of the plumbing for the air suspension. So, with that being said, my tanks all painted. I painted them in Tamiya aluminum. I always like fooling around with that word. And they go like right there. And I'm going to have to touch up a little bit on each side of those. But my holes are drilled out, and so we're going to go ahead and do this. Now I'm going to use some super glue on this. And the super glue I'm going to use is this BSI Ultra Cure, and it is a medium gap filling. So, first thing I want to do is I want to take some of the paint off of here. Just going to get a little scrubby dub right there. And then in there. You know, it's funny, these sticks, they should have on all four sides. I guess I'm asking for too much, huh? Alright, let's see. Alright, so now alright. Here's a nice clean toothpick. Now, I do have some accelerator I might use, I might not. I'm not 100% sure yet. So let's put a little bit of that in there. I did clean off the areas where this is going to get glued to the chassis, so hopefully it will adhere very well. Put it on both sides of the tabs that are there. And now, let's see if we can get this in without messing up. Come on. There you go. Alright. This accelerator, CA+. Alright. That one on. Now, let's go for the big one. The big baby. Let's take some of this paint off. Off of this one. I already cleaned the chassis, so let's glue this guy up. Alright, now let's see if we get this guy where he belongs. Right there. Right there, baby. Come on. Okay, boys and girls, we are back. This is going to be an overview of what I have done in this video to the Peterbilt group build. Start here in the front. I have the radiator and the radiator hoses attached but not secured yet, just in case I need to take the radiator out, which I can still do. Top of the engine is all complete. I finally got the fuel tank hooked up, and I have a gas line or fuel line from the tank all the way up to, that, but the blue thing down there is the filter, and then from the filter it comes up to the injection pump, and from the injection pump it goes to the injectors. Then I finally got my air suspension. All the red you see is air suspension, and then I finally got all of my brake lines secured all the way up to the front, back to my tanks right here. Air suspension comes up and under here to this tank. And let's see, let's turn this back over. I think that's about all I got done in this video. So, not very much, but it's getting closer. So, hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video. And as always, your questions, comments, input, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all, folks. Gemini Scale Model Works out for now.